Hey there, Craig, Game Changer here. So the way I work, I send that screen grab to all the players that tells them what kind of information I require, and then the first thing I do is I use this pin message option here to type in today's date and what your attack and defense stats are, and then we can review that going forward. Any notes I want the players to focus on or look at, again, I'll pin in that manner, so I can always go back. Press the three dots there, look at pinned messages, and there I have it. Anything that I've decided I need that player to review at, and obviously they can see the same. So just very quickly, let's go and have a look at your setups. This YouTube method that I've found is far superior to anything else that people do. Purely and simply, I can download this to YouTube, send it. I'm a different time zone from you. You'll pick it up at your leisure. You can watch it as many times as you want. It says fucking hours of typing, and it really is very personal, so people do look at it. I reckon by the time I'm finished, your defense stats are going to be about 42%. I average about an extra 10% per player, which could never be a bad thing, can it? Let's face it. Okay, so first thing first, riflemen. I mean, I will need help with some of these lower players, but he looks like absolutely maxed out, so all good. Machine gunner again, pretty good on that. Mortarmen for me is a far better animal, especially in base defense, so we'll review that as well. And sniper, yeah, obviously, I believe at your level, baiting using a sniper is quite key, but I actually use them in a lot of my defense. Certainly at my level, people are using a lot of helicopter attacks, so the snipers in there have quite a quick spawn zone, so get them upgraded and promoted as soon as you possibly can will be absolutely excellent. PKs again maxed, S13s, quite a good little attack vehicle for this level, but usually it's all about having that tanking, you know, as your kind of bullet stopper, and then obviously use either Humvees, S13s, or whatever you want as the killer. That's kind of how I work. I do like the Humvees, you know, from back in the day. Rocket buggies, I've never been a massive fan of. I've never used them really, mate, so I don't know if I would upgrade those too much. And obviously, yeah, your Rhino is good, but hopefully you're on to Abrams. There we are. Abrams looking absolutely fantastic, so that's really good. Nice to see you've got all your levels in there as well as. Now, the M270 for me, you should have obviously unlocked Red Eye. I can just see her in the corner, so that's excellent. But get that armour looked at as well, because I imagine up to probably CC7, this is going to be your staple attack. As soon as you've got Macarver online, you'll probably go in with Macarver, and obviously M270 as your main, and then you just need something sort of anti-air, which would probably be Zeus if you can, but obviously Humvees will probably double up, but there's a few things now bringing out Red Eye, so that'll evolve as well as. Great to see your Hinds looking strong. As soon as you can, look at Mi-28s, that will be certainly the one to go with. Reaper again, looking good, but you could possibly increase the health of that. Don't use Reapers a great deal personally in attack, or certainly not for a long time. You may still need them. I'm a bit rusty on the CC4, CC5 setups, but again, the armour is possible to look at getting them in the air as long as you possibly can. Thunderbolt for me is obviously a great sort of system to use. You do need to fly them in pairs. Singly, they're not that good. And again, make sure the armour on that's looked at if you're going to use them. That's rather a good method of targeting a building and taking those out. Now, observation here, Alpha is obviously very strong, but it's also quite vulnerable. You need to be partnering your Hind, so in slot 1, if you will, of your attack, your Hind, and what you do, very similar to the tank tank distraction, your Hind, you obviously click on, send the Hind in first. As soon as obviously things lock onto the Hind, you then send the Cobras directly behind them, and that obviously then means that the kind of Hind's taking the punishment. At the moment, if you're going up against flak or machine gun, your Cobra's going to get to take the punishment, and although they've got more firepower, they are more vulnerable, so you need to be mindful of that. Your Bravo, I think we've touched base on this. So that's a sledgehammer attack. Now, basically what that suggests is that, you know, I'm trying to survive and I'm just going to hit you, and hopefully I've still got some left at the end of it. What it does then promote is massive oil damage, massive repair bills, and let's face it, there's no finesse in it. So what I'd like to see is maybe if you in your first slot have a tank, the rest M270s with, say, Red Eye, and maybe even your your last slot a tank. So you kind of tank 3 sets of M270s and a tank, and that way what you can do is you can deploy your tanks independently, and just really use them for kind of bullet stoppers. I mean, if you're going up against, say, like a howitzer, what you do is you keep your tank moving underneath its flight path, and then literally the howitzer will lock onto the tank, and as the tank's moving, the howitzer will fire where it was, not where it is. That sort of technique will be useful for peacemakers when you get useful. But really, a tank is all about taking the punishment while the M270 does the damage, and that way you'll massively reduce your oil costs. Reduce your oil costs, you get, obviously the Buzz have been a much technical better player, but you get more fight for your oil, and that's really key. You need to think, the way I kind of think about these things, supposing these tank men were real, yeah, you know what I mean, and you just send them into your death, you know, so every time you sacrifice something, kind of just imagine if it was real, if you were a real general or real commander, and that level of frugalness, if you will serve you well, because the more oil you can kind of utilise or maximise, the obviously longer you can stay in the fight. And you've got 18,000, so if you're losing 2,000 to 3,000 in an attack, then obviously that's going to obviously damage you know how you're working. I do like the all Humvee, but again I think you would need one tank in there. So basically, if you're going up against a machine gun platform, the tank goes in first, and then the Humvees then obviously take care of obviously the machine gun platform while the tank is getting shot at. And if you can do that quick enough, then it does mean that you can take said turret out pretty darn quickly. So and it is excellent to see you've got those at level 10, so well done on that. Now just an observation here, so it looks like, you know, we're on the same page here, that you've got snipers, but 16 seconds before that first sniper comes out, and then another 16 seconds. I would have probably gone 1 sniper, 2 sniper, and then let's be honest, if you ask yourself, you know, at the end of all that, I mean, what's that, 16:32, at the end of nearly a minute, 14 machine guns come at you. It's not really going to cause you any bother. Tell you what, though, fucking 14 mortarmen coming out at you at the end of it, you know, you'll soon sharp know about it. So I think your mortarmen would be a far better defender there, but I would probably go 1 and then 2 for the sniper. So at least, you know, after 8 seconds, you've got sniper, obviously, you know, working on the anti-air, you know what I mean? I think it's a far better system. And with them being quite small, they are quite difficult to pick up. So you're on the right lines, but I always want every player to be thinking about how quickly things come out. Regarding this here, I like that. I mean, you know, nothing better than a tank coming out after 16, so that's good. I would possibly that last slot there, maybe those Humvees. Again, Humvees causing you any major bother? Probably not. Change that to a couple of M270s at the end. That's probably going to give them a little bit more to think about. So I think that would be absolutely excellent. And regarding this here, absolutely perfect. I mean, Heinz coming out, you know, 16 seconds, 32, exactly how I would have set it up, mate. So absolutely fantastic on that. So superb. And then Reapers in your defence. I do like everything's upgrade capacity. That suggests you're thinking about, you know, obviously maximising everything you can. So that's absolutely excellent. Now, I'm going to touch base on this fob here. The fact you've left your helicopter as level 3. I bet you're a tenner to a piece of shit. What you're thinking there is, because I'm right in still thinking that's Cobra. And what you're thinking, well, I've got level 10 Cobra, but I've only got level 0 to level 1 of the Guardian. So you know what, I'm not going to upgrade that fob because level 10 must be better level 1. But if you look closely at that heli fob, and if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, but that's my suspicion. If you look closely at that helifob though, what you'll do, and you upgrade that to level 4, yes, it's a Guardian at level 1, but that Guardian, I think from memory, receives at least a 300, possibly 400% health boost. and that is pound for pound far better than the Cobra at level 10. So as soon as you can get any fob upgraded, make sure you do so. And you know what, especially going forward, the most powerful fob that you will have will be your helifob, because it is absolutely outstanding, especially when you start getting to Guardians and things like that. So the next thing I want you to be thinking about, my friend, is the things that are contained in your fob. Don't even know what the Cougar is yet. I haven't had a look at that. So if you have got a tank reinforcement, let's see if you've got that one selected there for you. So yeah, so as soon as you upgrade that, you know, you move to Macavers. Now if you've got level 10 Macavers, then that fob will be far stronger than if you've got level 8 Macavers and level 7 and level 6. So anything that's contained in your fob. So going forward, you need to be maxing your Macaver. Now, interestingly, if you max your Macaver and get Red Eye on it, then every single tank inside your fob will also have Red Eye, and that makes obviously the fob even more effective. So if your fob happens to have in its defense an Mi-28 or another helicopter, if that in your game is maxed, then so will be in the fob. So anything that's contained in the fob. So going forward, Guardians, massively important to get them maxed. Macaver, certainly. Striker, certainly. If you upgrade Striker, it should upgrade Striker IFV, unless it's changed with this latest update. That's always been the way it was. And Striker IFV is in your fob. So if your Striker and your Striker IFV are maxed, then so will your fob. And then obviously you've got Force Recon. Get all those, and later on Mi-28s maxed as soon as you can, because that will make your fobs far stronger. And the Mi-28 is so fucking badass when it comes to defense. It's unreal. So that would be my top tips. So if you've heard that level 3 Cobra fob is not as good as a level 4 Guardian fob, bollocks, it fucking is far superior. The difference is massively measurable. So that would be my top tips for you. And then obviously Macaver, you know, is an absolute must. It's really a fucking powerhouse of a tank, is that, compared to I mean, I'll put it this way, I use that right up to CC8. In fact, CC9. I've only just literally gone over to the next tank up from that, which is the Leopard. So it really is absolutely superb, my friend. So yeah, a few things to work on, but you know, you can tell what you're looking at, you know what you're doing. Just I want a little bit more finesse in your attack, and things along that sort of line. I want you to have a little think about your spawn times for defenders, get that extra fob upgraded, and then start work on getting these next set of vehicles upgraded. And this is what I do with all my players, mate. And then I send them this YouTube video, and you know what? You'll find that the engagement is massive from the guys, because it gives them some proper shit to work on, and it's very personal. So that's how I would tackle it. Cheers, bro. Thank you.